In this video, we were learning decision table based testing or decision table testing. This decision table testing is one of the black box testing technique. This is the third testing technique. So there are some drawbacks are there in the equivalence class testing technique. To overcome that drawback, we have started with one more concept, one more black box testing technique. That is, we are calling it as a decision table technique. So what are all the drawbacks are existed in the equivalence class partitioning method? So in the equivalence class partitioning method, so point number one, we have covered a whole input domain range, that is nothing but complete testing, and as well as we were trying to avoid the redundancy, but still redundancies are not removed in the equivalence class partition technique. But so that redundancy we will overcome under the decision table based testing. That is the advantage of using a decision table testing technique. So, and also this decision table technique we are applying, or we are going to use to represent and as well as to do the analyze the complex logical relationship in a given program. So this method can only be applicable so if the program is having we want to represent that program and as well as to analyze the complex logical relationship of the program, then only the decision table testing technique can be applicable. So now basically the decision table technique has a 4 portions. How decision table technique will looks, how to draw this decision table technique. So here, so we will draw the table. That table we are calling it as a decision table. So that decision table will have a 4 portions. So first portion we are calling it as a leftmost portion. This leftmost portion, so our column we are calling it as a stub portion. We are calling it as stub portion. And the second point, so a right column is the rightmost position in the table. So of a stub portion we are calling it as an entry portion. Entry portion. And the third point, decision table technique will includes, so one more portion, that is we are calling it as a condition portion. These condition portions are represented or noted so by using C, that will be represented by using a small c. And similarly the last portion which includes the action portion. Action portion is noted by using a small a. This is contents which includes under the decision table technique. So the leftmost column of a table we are calling it as a stub portion, and the rightmost column we are calling it as an entry portion, and it includes stub portion and entry portion includes conditions and as well as actions. The conditions are denoted by using a small c and actions are also denoted by using a small a. Now so we will draw one small example how the decision table will looks. Basically decision table will looks in this manner. You can see here I am going to draw a sample decision table, how it looks. See, this is the stub portion. So this stub portion, once again it is split into 2 categories, or you can also call it as 2 columns or 2 rows. One is condition portion and second one is action portion. The conditions are represented by using a small c. Like let us consider C1, C2, C3. So C4, in that order the conditions will be there. And now after that condition, so action portions will be there. Action portions will be represented by using a small a, like A1, A2, A3, A4, like how many so entries you want based on that. So then, so this entry portion is there. Entry portion which includes the rules. The rules are represented by using a R1, R2, R3, comma 4 also. We can include two rules at a time if the rules are same, and rule 5, rule 6 and rule 7, comma 8. So like you can enter rules. I will tell you in next how the rules can be counted and how we can enter the rules. So the entry portion is nothing but here we are going to enter the Boolean values. Boolean values are nothing but the entry portion will be done by using an Boolean representations. So Boolean representations are nothing but either you can enter by using a true or false, or we can also represent it as a 0 or 1. Okay, so this is how the entry portion will be done. And also, so we are using a dash. Dash indicates that not applicable, or else it is applicable only for so conditions. So that is a dash indicates. Now the rules will be, so these rules entry will be done by using a true or false manner. In this table, I am using a T and F representation to represent this. So let us consider condition 1 under rule 1, it is true. Condition 2 under rule 1, true. Condition 3 under rule 1, true. So here true, true, false, and true, false. So sometimes if condition 3 for rule 3 and rule 4 is absent, means that is represented by using this dash. The dash indicates that, underscore indicates that not applicable, don't care condition. So not applicable condition. And sometimes you can also represent like false, true, true. So false, true, false, and then so last one is false, false, dash. So this is how generally we are entering the Boolean values in the entry portion. Next, in the action portion, the action portions are represented by using a so X. X indicates that is a output result. Here conditions will act as a conditions of the program. If these conditions are satisfied, based on these values, what expected output result we are going to get from the action. Actions are nothing but outputs, conditions are nothing but inputs, like for a given program. Here, if this is the condition, if these conditions are true for a rule 1, then what will be the expected output result? Either A1 or A2 or A3 or A4. Based on that, we need to put a cross mark. Cross mark indicates that is a expected output result, so or else output result which we are getting for a decision table. For example, I will say that, so whenever C1, C2, C3 conditions are true, my output result will be A1 and A2. Then you need to put a cross mark over there. That cross mark indicates that these are the output results I will going to get when these conditions are true. So second rule, so second combination of input. If this is the condition of a program, one false and other conditions are true, so my output result will be like A1 and A3. Then here you need to respective column, you need to mark out it as a XX. Similarly, one true and one false and one is dash. Dash is nothing but I told, so not applicable, or else it means must be false or irrelevant. Okay, then that will be represented by using a dash. Then that if this is the combination, my output result might be a A4. A4 is nothing but in the respective column we have to put a cross mark. And then, so if true, true, false will be there, my expected output result is A1 and A3, then put a cross mark over there. If two false and one true is there, then my expected output result might be a A2. So if all are false and one condition is not applicable, then maybe my output result is A4. This is how we are doing a entry of the sample entry of the decision table technique. So I'll repeat, the total table is having a 4 portions. This 4 portion, one is a stub portion, this is the entry portion. So in the stub portion we are having a condition portion and as well as action portion. The condition portions are represented by using a small c and action portions are represented by using a small a. Here the condition portions will be represented in the program which will going to execute based on these conditions. That is, it will going to accept the input and based on the input the conditions will be starts to check the conditions. If the conditions are based on the true or false, our output result will be expecting, that is A1, A2, A3 or A4. This is the entry portion. The entry portion will includes the Boolean functions, like either we can represent it as a true or false manner or else 0 or 1. So these are all, we can call it as a combination of rules. So rule 1, rule 2, rule 3, rule 4, rule 5, rule 6, then it will entry portion will have a rules. Based on these rules we are writing the combination of the inputs or conditions. So true, 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 false, false, true, that is a combination. So for example, I will tell you, like in the logic design, how we are writing the combination of inputs, like 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1. So in that fashion we can also write the rules. Like for example, this is the false, 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 then false, false, true, then false, true, false, then false, true, true, then true, false, false. This is how we are writing the combination of C1, C2, C3 conditions. Okay, so in that fashion also you can do the entry. And then action portions, which output result we are going to getting when we are having these conditions, condition 1, condition 2 and condition 3, that we need to represent. This is how we are entering the decision table. So by using programs in the next example. Now in the next example we will start with the triangle problem. How a triangle problem can be represented using a decision table technique, that we will continue. Now we will see the example for a decision table technique. Example is a triangle problem. The triangle problem, all of us know that, which includes 3 sides of a triangle ABC. ABC will act as the sides of a triangle where the upper limit and lower limit is 1 to 10. So how to enter the values into the decision table technique? So before writing the test case table, first we have to write the decision table. Based on that decision table we need to write the test case table. Now so while writing a triangle problem, first of all we have to know the conditions of a program. Based on that conditions we need to do the entry in the decision table. So all of us know that, so condition number 1, condition number 2 and condition number 3. So if these 3 conditions are satisfied, then only the triangle can be possible to form a triangle. So condition 1, so where side A should be less than B plus C, and the second condition is B side value should be lesser than the A plus C, and last condition is C, where C should be lesser than A plus B. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, it indicates that then only the triangle can be possible to form. After, if it is possible to form a triangle or not, based on this condition only we will going to decide. If these 3 conditions are satisfied, then we will start to identify what type of triangle it is. If any one of the condition becomes false, then it is not possible to form a triangle, or else it's not a triangle. So now, so these are the 3 conditions. First these 3, based on these 3 conditions only, the next condition will be coming into picture, that is C4, C5, C6. If these 3 conditions are true, then so we need to identify what type of triangle it is. Based on the C4, C5, C6 condition, we will going to identify whether it is an equilateral triangle, isosceles triangle or scalene triangle. So C4 condition will represent whether A equal to B, or C5 condition will gives A equal to C, and we need to check the condition, last condition, that is C6, whether B equal to C. So based on this, if the condition, any of the condition may satisfied, may not satisfied. So if A equal to B question mark, then C4 true, then C5 and C6 are false, then what type of triangle it is. If C4 and C6 are true, so C5 is not satisfied or else it is false, then what type of triangle it is. Based on this condition, we will check the what type of triangle it is. Now, so we will draw the decision table for a triangle problem. All of we know that in the video how to draw the decision table. The decision table will include the stub portion. Stub portion is nothing but it includes actions and conditions. So now I have written the condition which I have explained over here. All those conditions you have to list it out here. C1, C2, C3, C4, C5 and C6. Total 6 conditions are there for a triangle problem. When we will be analyzing the problem of the triangle problem, we have segregated so the conditions based on this condition only. So we are going to do the analysis of the output result. Then this is the condition portion, which is represented by using a small c. This is the action portion. Action portions are represented by A1, A2, A3, A4, small a's. So here possibility of outcome we have to list it out here. The possibility of outcome is total 5 possibilities are there as per your triangle problem with respect to the decision table technique. One is not a triangle. Second one is scalene, isosceles, equilateral and impossible. These are the possibility of outcome which we have listed over here. So for your triangle problem. So in between condition portion and action portion, there will be a one more row. That row we are calling it as a rule count. This rule count will give a clear picture how many rules should be there in the entry should be there in the decision table. Based on the rule count only, we are doing the entry of the decision table technique like Boolean functions, zeros or ones or else true or false, and along with the output result, that is we are indicating by using a cross mark. So what is now we come to know that rule count means what? The rule count is nothing but which will give the clear picture of how many columns entry should be there in the entry portion. That will give gives the clear idea about the rule count. So how to identify how many rules should be there in the decision table? So there is a one general formula is there, 2 to the power of n. This 2 to the power of n will give the clear picture of the rule counts. Number of rule counts should be existed in the decision table technique. So where n represents the number of conditions, here not input, as we have seen in the boundary value and equivalence class, it indicates that the n represents the number of conditions existed for a triangle problem. Here how many conditions you are listed, no, that is the value of n. Here total how many conditions are there? 6. Then the value of n is 6. Then 2 to the power of 6. Then 64 rule count should be existed in your decision table technique. So then how to enter the 64 rule count now? That I will going to explain. So in the entry portion. So now let's start with the rule 1. How to enter the rule 1? So rule, now let us consider. So we have to write first 3 conditions in the combination manner. So before writing in the combination manner, so first point, let us assume that this will be a false. For first time, I will make it as this will be the false. And once this condition becomes false, so what about the condition 2 or condition 3? Condition 2 and condition 3 we will not at all going to check. It is not applicable. Why? Because first condition itself will becomes false. Then we need not bother about the remaining condition. So then that remaining conditions we are going to enter by using the dash. Dash indicates that not applicable. That indicates that not applicable. So therefore that is represented as using a dash dash dash. Now the rule count 1 entry is over. Then we will jump to the rule 2. So next time, so now C1 condition we will make it as true. Then we will make this condition 2 false. condition 2 false. Then what about the remaining condition? So I told if any one of the condition will becomes false, either C1 or C2 or C3 or any 2, then we are not bothering about the remaining conditions. Then that, if you are not bothering about means it is not applicable means, then that is represented as a dash dash dash. So now see, so here how many dashes are there? No, that is nothing but 2 to the power of n. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 dashes are there. Then 5 dashes indicates that 2 to the power of 5 rule counts are over. 2 to the power of 5 rule counts are nothing but 32. 32 rule counts are over here. So just I'll write directly 32 here. 32 rule counts are over. Here how many dashes are there? Not applicable conditions are there. That many number of 2 to the power of, so here 1, 2, 3, 4. Then this is the 2 to the power of 4. 2 to the power of 4 is nothing but 16. Here 16 rule counts are over. Then 32 plus 16. That many rule counts are got over in the rule 1 and rule 2 itself only. Now I will jump to the rule 3. So now this I will make it as a true, and this one I will make it as a true. Then the condition 3 I will make it as false. Then what about C4, C5, C6? So it is not applicable. Then what is the rule count now? 2 to the power of 3. 2 to the power of 3 means 8 rule counts are over. Then so similarly I will jump to the next rule count. So rule, that is R4. So next time I will make these 3 true, true, true. Okay, now concentrate. If I make these 3 true, 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 so next remaining time, so all these condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, I will make set it to a true. Why? Because one time one condition can be false, then the remaining is not applicable. Now 3 times we have done false, false, false. Next time these 3 conditions should be a true. Then only so C4, C5, C6 condition can be checked whether it is possible to form a triangle. If it is possible to form a triangle, then what type of triangle it is. When all the conditions are true, then it indicates that it is possible to form a triangle. Once it is possible to form a triangle, then I need to identify what type of triangle it is. Okay. So next how many combinations I will going to get now. Now here itself only I will come to know that.
Start.
Now so if these 3 conditions are true, next remaining time all these 3 conditions will be true. Okay. Next only we are going to give the combination of inputs, or entry portion will be done a combination of C4, C5 and C6. Now so you can see here 32 rule count is over, plus 16 rule count is over, and plus 8 rule counts are over. Then total 56 rule counts are got over out of 64. Still how many rule counts are remaining? 8 rule counts are remaining. Next remaining time, so I told these 3 conditions are true. Then I will write the combination of these C4, C5, C6 inputs. Now how we need to do the entry? Just you see here. R4. Next how many rule count should be there? 8. Therefore 8 rules will be, I am going to write to here. R5, R6, R7, R8, R9, R10, R11, R12, R10. Enough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 and R11. Okay, enough. So now see here. We will stop it here itself only. Now I told remaining rules, these 3 conditions are true. Just I will fill with the true, true. Okay. Now, so now these 8 entries are there. You can see from R4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here already up to here, we have done a checked 56 test cases. 56 test cases. Then remaining 8 test cases we have to write here. Remaining 8 rule count we have written here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If all the entries are there, then that column rule count will be 1. If number of underscore symbols are there, dashes are there, then 2 to the power of n. That much rule count will be covered over here. So now how to write? So I think all of us know that a combination of digital inputs, like if the 3 inputs are there, then the combination of inputs will be a 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1. So how we are doing entry? So in this fashion, we need to do the entry in the reverse order. In the reverse order means first all true, next 2 true, next in that order we have to enter here. So here 0, instead of 0, 1, we are using a true, true and false, false. Now I'll write in the same fashion. First time all will be true. Then it indicates that 1, 1, 1. Next combination is true, true, false. True, true, false. Next combination is true, false, true. Next combination is so true, false, false. Next combination is false, true, true. Next combination is false, true, false. Next combination is false, false, true. Next combination is all are false. So I think all of you understood how to do the entry portion. So in the condition section. So next, what I told, the rule count will be 1. If all the entries are there, all the condition entries are filled by a boolean values, then the rule count column value will be a 1, 1. Now you can count here. We will going to get a 64 rule count. So if you add these things, then you will get a 64. Now I need to write the output result. When this combination will be there, then what will be my expected output result? When the first condition itself will becomes false, it is not possible to form a triangle. Similarly, I told either C1 or C2 or C3, any one of the condition becomes false. So irrespective of other condition inputs values, then the values will be a output result will be a not a triangle. Clear? Now you can see the condition 1 is false, here condition 2 is false, here condition 3 is false. The first time all the output result in the rule 1, rule 2, rule 3 values will be output, expected output result will be not a triangle, not a triangle, not a triangle. Okay. Next, so all are true, then I need to check only C4, C5, C6 conditions. Next remaining time all the 3 conditions are true. You can see here all the 3 conditions are true. Therefore just I will check the combination of C4, C5 and C6. Based on that I will write the expected output result. So now all are true. All are true means A equal to B, A equal to C and B equal to C. Therefore my expected output result will be a equilateral triangle. Okay. C4, C5, C6 are all are true. Then my expected output result will be so equilateral triangle. If in this combination, so if one of the condition is false, okay, so in this combination if the one of the condition is false, I will always I will going to get output result is impossible. Please remember either C4 or C5 or C6, any one of the condition is false. If the remaining conditions are true, then my output result will be false. That combination I need to check and then I need to write. Here these 2 are true and 1 is false, therefore I am getting a impossible. Here also these 2 conditions are true, this condition is false. Once again I am going to get output result impossible. Next, here these 2 true, this one is false, therefore once again I am going to get for this combination impossible. Okay, so I think understood all of you. Then so is there anything true, true, false is there? Check. Done. Then I need to go for this column entry is over, 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 this column entry got over, this column entry got over. Now I need to go for R7. R7 I am having a 2 false and 1 true. If 2 false and 1 true will be there, then so my expected output result will be always a isosceles triangle. Then my expected output result will be always a isosceles triangle. Then you can see here in the which column we are having a this such type of combination. means two conditions should be false and one condition should be true. Then here you can check, here two conditions are false, one condition is true, then my expected output result is so isosceles. Here two false, then once again my expected output result is isosceles. When all the conditions are false, when all the conditions are like C4, C5, C6 conditions are false, then my expected output result will be a Scalian. And then my expected output result is Scalian. Then so all the entries are got over. You can check it here. R1 entry is over. R2 entry combination entry is expected output result is over. R3 entry is also over. R4, R5, R6, R7, R8, R9, R10 and R11. Then how many cross marks are there? That many number of test cases will be existed in the triangle problem under the decision table technique. For that many test cases we have to write for your decision table technique. 3 times I will going to get a output result as a not a triangle. 1 time I will going to get a equilateral triangle. So then 3 times I will going to generate the output result impossible, and the 3 times I will going to generate the output result isosceles, and 1 time I am going to generate the output result as a Scalian. So this is how we are doing. You can see here output results, that many number of test cases will be existed in the decision table technique. Now you can see how the testing table, so for a decision table technique for a triangle problem will looks like. So here test case ID, test case description, input, expected output, actual output and observation will be there. So here, so from this table we come to know that 11 test cases will be there. Therefore you can write 11 test cases, or you list it out here. 11, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So test case description should be in this fashion. How we have done test cases, we have drawn a test cases. Like first is action will be not a triangle, not a triangle, not a triangle. First testing for a not a triangle, testing for a not a triangle, testing for a not a triangle. Means 3 test cases should be like that. And next time we are testing for a equilateral triangle. Therefore you write here testing for a equilateral triangle. How many times? 1. Next R4 is 1. Next R5. R5 test case is what? Impossible. Impossible means testing for impossible. You have to write in this manner only. Testing for impossible. Next 6 is also testing for impossible. And the next column we are generating the output result, that is 7th test case. 7th test case is isosceles. Then here you have to write testing for isosceles. Next once again impossible. Next R9 is testing for isosceles. R10 is also testing for isosceles. And the last test case is for Scalian. Okay, testing for Scalian. In that order you have to write the description. Now similarly we need to fill the expected output result. That is what we are written a test case description, testing for a not a triangle, then my expected output result will be a not a triangle. Similarly next 2 times, so we are getting a not a triangle, then I have written here not a triangle. Then here equilateral, here also equilateral, expected output result. Impossible, impossible 2 times, here also impossible. So here also impossible is my expected output result. Here I am getting isosceles in the test case 7. Here also my expected output result will be isosceles. Here it is impossible, here also it is impossible is my output result. 9 and 10 test case will be isosceles, and the 11th test case will be a Scalian test case. Similarly actual output result will be same. Then my observation should be a either you can write here observation or remark or comment. Okay, so the observation should be always pass. In case if any inputs or test cases are not works properly according to our expected output result, then the observation will be fail. Then based on this test case description, we have to specify the input parameter list. The input may be within a range what we have given in the program 1 to 10. All the value should be a 1 to 10. If we are giving outside the range, then we are calling it as an impossible cases. That will be represented as a question mark. You can write impossible wherever impossible input expected output result is there. there where we can write it as a question mark. Means if we are specifying outside the value, then that will be we are calling it as an impossible test cases. If you are specifying within a range, then the other test cases will be a output result. Now I will write some inputs for to get a not a triangle with the valid inputs. How? So now if I specify a equal to 7 and b is 2 and then 3 c will be 3, then it is not a triangle. Why? Because you can see here a value should be less than b plus c. So according to the C1 condition, so the a value is 7, 7 is less than 5. Whether this condition is true, 7 is less than 5. So then based on that, so we have to check the condition, then it is not possible to form a triangle. Then the second condition 2, 7, 3. So this condition should be false. The next time, so 3, 2, 7. Then third condition should be false. Now the first condition is false. Then second time for this input, second condition will becomes false. So next condition, third test case, the third condition will becomes false. That is C1 first time will be false. Then second time C2 will be false. Then third time C3 will be false. In that fashion, you have to specify your input. The value might be different, but all the values should be within this range. Okay. So this is when we are specifying these inputs, we are going to generate the output result is a not a triangle. Then I need to get the next equilateral triangle. When I am going to get an equilateral triangle, if you specify value 555 or 666 or 77 or 888, then your expected output result will be a equilateral triangle. Now, so now I need to specify a values like impossible test case needs to be satisfied. To specify that, I can't go beyond these values. Therefore, this will be the inputs will be a question mark. Why I have put a question mark? Because my program will not accept the values which are beyond the boundary. So therefore, so these inputs are not possible to specify for my program. Therefore, I have written here so question mark for these two inputs. Similarly, I can also write a question mark for test case 8. Okay. Next, to get the isosceles triangle, what I can give a input result. Now A and B, A equal to B and B equal to A. Then so this C value will be a different. Then I'll going to generate the output result isosceles. Then the same combination you can interchange. So next time this will be 6, this will be 7 and this will be 6. And next time this will be 7 and these two will be 6, 6. Then I'll going to generate the isosceles, here also isosceles. To get the scalene triangle, then you can specify a different set of input like 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5 means last condition C4, C5 and C6 conditions are there. A equal to B question mark and B equal to C question mark and A equal to C question mark is there. These three conditions are false for this input. When all these conditions are false for this input, then I am going to generate the output result as a scalene. This is how we need to enter the value. So for a test cases for a decision table technique for triangle problem.